What's up, everyone? I'm Zach Lyons-Wade, and this is my 2022 in the bag. Let's get right into it. 2021 was a year of experimenting with new molds and kind of figuring out what I like. I've kind of been building up a new bag since 2019, and I'm going to be showing you what I've kind of put together here. So let's start with the putters. So for the start of 2022, I'm going to be putting with the ExoSoft Logic. What I like about the Logic is that it's a little bit more shallow, so it feels a little better in my smaller hands, so I can feel like I can manipulate the angles and control it a little better than what I used to putt with the P2s. I love the Logic. It's a little bit straighter than the P2s as well, so it's very good for jump putts and longer putts. For throwing, I always have a Sonic in the bag. This is a Garrett Gurthie signature Sonic, and I love the Sonic for flip up to flat, for shorter, probably within 100 feet, so very short throws. I also like tossing them around before a round, good warm-up. For the last putter thrower that I have is Proxy. This one is going to be in the Neutron plastic. The Proxy, I can put a lot of torque into this one, and it's really a straight putter for me. Love the color, purple on purple. I think the Proxy is going to become a staple, but it's really a neutral, straight flyer for me. The next disc I want to talk about is the Zone. The Zone has also become a staple in my bag. I'm bagging the Brian Earhart Zone Z Sparkle. It's really stiff, doesn't have a whole ton of give to it. It's a little puddled, which I like because it makes it a little bit more overstable and gives it a little less glide, so it gets to the ground quicker, which is really what I love the Zone for. Zone for sidearms, for backhands, I love it for everything. It's a really good approach game for me, and that's why the Zone is the staple in my bag. Next up is my mids. Only have 3 in the bag right now. First one I want to talk about is the Neo Origin. What I love the Origin for is flip up to flat and even a little bit of turn. It's an understable driver. Here in Phoenix, it's going to be pretty understable. When I go up to Flagstaff or higher elevation locations, it's going to be a little bit more stable, as most of you know. So it makes it a really good, versatile mid-range for me. The next one is an older run Buzz with the Mini B. A friend of mine gave this to me. Thank you, Dylan. This one is going to be a very straight one. A little bit of flip up for this one. It's going to be more overstable than the Origin, so it's going to be in between this next one I'm talking about. And this is my newer Buzz. I got this one at 2021 Pro Worlds, and this one is very, very overstable. It doesn't really fly like most of the Buzzes that I've thrown. It flies closer to a Wasp or an Indy 4 or something like that. But I do like this one. It's very consistent, and I know that's going to beat in super nice for me. All right, and now on to my fairways. I have 5 of them right now. First one I want to talk about is this Innova Run C-Line FD. This one is overstable for an FD. I also have I also bag an Instinct here, which is similar to a T-Bird. It's a little bit flippier than a T-Bird. But the funny thing is that this FD is more overstable than this Instinct. So I kind of swap them out depending on conditions and the hole. But this Instinct is going to get a lot of turn, and it'll still finish probably more of a straight finish. This FD will get barely any turn. I have to put a lot of torque into it and maybe even throw it flat, and it'll have a super hard finish, which I love. This next one I want to talk about is this Neo Essence. This is going to be strictly turnovers, hard turnovers, and rollers. If I put a lot of cut into it, it's going to hold that cut, and then it'll eventually turn over at the end, and it makes a really good roller. I, right now, am bagging 2 FD3s. The first one is a Color Glow FD3, this Discmaniac run, and it's going to be a pretty straight one for an FD3. I'm going to use this one for big flex lines. It'll flex a little bit, and then it'll still have a hard finish because it's an FD3, but it's definitely straighter than this one. This one is a very overstable FD3, and you know, it's just like any Firebird, any FD3, any Raptor. Very overstable, very reliable in the wind. And then also, finally, for fairways, I have this splice, and this splice is similar to the new Captain's Raptor. Any very, very overstable Firebird is going to be more overstable than this one. I can put it on this angle on the sidearm, and it's going to fight out very quickly. This one is more of a utility disc because it's so overstable. I can maybe get 300 feet out of it, but it's a good one. I love it. Now on to the next group of drivers. Some people call them the hybrids, control drivers, either one. They're my 10 speeds. First one I have is a Star Orc. I love this one. It's super pretty. I'm going to show it to this camera here. Super pretty. This one's going to be a little bit more overstable than most Orcs, which I love. So I can put it on that angle. It may get flipped to flat, but it's going to have a reliable finish every single time. This is one of my favorites. Next one is probably actually my favorite disc that I have is a C-Line PD. This one has been beat in for a little bit, so I can put a good hyzer angle on it, and it'll flip up almost to flat and hold for a little bit, but it's always going to have that overstable finish that a PD has, which I love. And then this next one is the new Innova Phantom Sword PD. It's going to fly the exact same. It's a little bit newer, so it's going to be the more overstable version, but the plastic feels really good. It's got a little bit more dome on this one, so it's going to fly a little bit more overstable, and it also has a little bit more glide, but it's going to beat in to be a really nice one. All right, now to finish off the bag, I have 7 distance drivers. The first one being a Neo Enigma. This one's strictly for long distance rollers, big, huge turnovers that I know is not going to finish super hard. If at all, it's going to have a straight finish. Mostly rollers though. I can get this one out on a good angle like that, and it's going to cut and cut and cut if I throw it hard enough, and it'll flip up eventually, and maybe even finish to the right, which is great. This one's a great roller. Another one that my buddy Dylan gave to me, the Emperor. It's a little lightweight, so it makes it super bomby. I throw this one mostly into tailwinds on a little bit of anhyzer, and it'll just hold, carry. And this one goes a very long way for me. I'm loving this one right now. Next one is a Star Destroyer, just a regular stock Star Destroyer with the Disc Shack stamp. Loving this one. It's domey. You can hear the pop on it. Max weight though, but this one is flying super nice. It's a little beat in, so it's gonna get a pretty decent amount of flip for me. And what I really love this one for is sidearms. If I put it on hyzer angle, it's gonna hold that hyzer, maybe even flip up a little bit, but it's gonna go for days because it's super domey. This one goes so far, it's unbelievable. This one is one of the older ones in my bag right now, the blue DD3. This one also has a good amount of dome to it, but it's significantly more overstable than the other two. This one is in between a Halo Destroyer stability-wise and that purple Destroyer. This one has been a go-to for quite a while now, and I will be throwing it for a long time. It's beating in super nicely. It'll hold hyzer angles, get a little bit of flip, but it's going to have that reliable finish that I love destroyers and DD3s for. This next destroyer is my factory second Halo destroyer. This one is absolute, it's overstable. That's really, I'm going to throw it on hyzers, and it's not going to come up at all. It'll keep the hyzer the whole time. Huge flex lines. They can put it out on that angle, and it's going to come out pretty quick. Headwinds, super good disc. Doesn't get thrown a whole ton because of its overstability, but when it does, it's a workhorse for me. S-Line PD2. This one was given to me by friend Henry, and this one already, I haven't had it for a whole ton of time, but it's super nice. It flies a little bit similar to that Halo destroyer, but it's going to get more glide and a tiny bit more flip up. It's a little older. It's the older Innova Star plastic, which is super good, and I always love a good PD2. The last one here is another S-Line PD2. It's also an older one, but this one's a little flatter, and this one is so overstable. This one's going to be for headwinds, throwing super hard. It's going to be more overstable than the Halo destroyer that I have. Just doesn't really go anywhere. If I need to go over something, throw it straight up, it'll come straight down. Mostly utility, but in a headwind, it's gonna be a great one. And that's gonna do it. That's gonna be what I'm throwing coming into the 2022 season. I'm super excited. I've got a lot of things in store here. But thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you later.